like to call our meeting to order. It is 6 p.m. and declare that we do have a board quorum present. The mission of Brazosport ISD is to graduate each student to be future ready. If you will please stand, our invocation will be led by Mr. Chris Dunn, and our pledges of allegiance will be led by Mr. Mary Atkins.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for blessing us, taking care of us. Father, we just thank you that we can gather here tonight and take care of the district business, take care of our students, our faculty, our community. Father, I just thank you for our guests and those that we get to celebrate accomplishments and great things that are going on. Father, I just pray that you would bless each life that's here and give safety on the way home. Father, we just pray that the things that are said and done tonight will be for your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I'd like to ask our board to begin making its way to the front as we transition into our awards, achievements, and recognition time. Mr. Jay.
All right, good evening. We will begin our recognitions this evening with our National Merit Recognized students. Brazosport ISD is proud to announce that 3 of its high-achieving students have been recognized by the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program. These students from Brazosport High School have demonstrated outstanding academic talent through their impressive performances on the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. As I call your name, please join Mr. Massey here at the front. Robert Cisco Elam. Cisco has been named a National Merit Commended Student. This honor recognizes his exceptional academic promise, placing him in the top 3% of students nationwide who took the PSAT National Merit Qualifying Test. Cisco plans to attend college at UT or A&M and major in electrical and computer engineering. He is a College Board AP Scholar and the recipient of the National Hispanic Recognition Award. His interests are working with computers, coding, and troubleshooting. Penelope Mulholland. Penelope has been named a National Merit Commended Student. This honor recognizes her exceptional academic promise, also placing her in the top 3% of students nationwide who took the PSAT National Merit Qualifying Test. Penelope plans to attend college at Texas A&M University and major in chemical engineering. She enjoys participating in Science Olympiad and Rockets, and her favorite activities are reading and playing video games. Manuel Cardenas. Manuel has been named as a National Merit semifinalist, placing him in the top 1% of students nationwide who took the PSAT National Merit Qualifying Test. As a semifinalist, he is eligible to compete for one of the prestigious National Merit Scholarships awarded to less than 1% of high school seniors across the United States. Manuel plans to attend college at MIT, UT, or Texas A&M. He is the co-founder of the Hispanic Education and Resource Organization, HERO, and a National AP Scholar. He has a passion for robotics, computers and circuitry, and rockets. Please join me in a round of applause for these outstanding
Good evening. I have the pleasure of recognizing two different groups of students tonight. Our first is Brazosport High School's barbecue team, Anchor and Flame. They made a spectacular debut at their first competition Saturday, October 19th, securing the coveted overall grand champion title of the region. The team showcased their culinary skills, teamwork, earning them multiple awards, and they each took home a $10,000 scholarship to Sullivan University. In addition to being named Regional Grand Champion, Anchor and Flame took home the top prize for Grand Steak while earning reserve titles for both chili and ribs. They placed fourth in chicken and grilled cheese, further showcasing their versatility and talent in the barbecue arena. This achievement would not have been possible without the invaluable support and sponsorship from Chef Christian Mahalik, Coach Mike Foytik, Chef Jay Collins, the Brock Group, the Vandergrift family, B&H Distributors, Sharkies, and Exporter Apparel. Their guidance and resources have helped propel Anchor and Flame to new heights in the competitive barbecue landscape. As they prepare for the state championship, the team is eager to continue building on the success representing Brazosport High School with pride. The team's success has earned them a spot in the upcoming state championship set to take place May 3rd in Burnett. Congratulations to the following students if they would come forward when I call their names. Leland Matthews. Adrian Garcia. Gwendolyn Whistler. Clarissa Lazima. Isaiah Chabra. And our sponsor, Chef Christian Mahalik. Coach Mike Foytik. And Chef Jay Collins. Congratulations to you all.
Good job. Appreciate you all. Perfect. Good job. Good job.
Our next recognition includes students from 3 different schools, and we'll recognize each school separately. On November 15th, students from Brazosport High School, Brazoswood High School, and Clute Intermediate School had an outstanding showing at the Area 4 Texas Association of Future Educators, or TAFE, competition held at the University of Houston downtown. Dozens of students showcased their hard work and dedication across a variety of projects, representing Brazosport ISD with pride. This year's competition marked a significant milestone for Clute Intermediate, as it was the first time the school participated in TAFE. Their impressive inaugural performance highlighted the group's growing enthusiasm and talent among our intermediate students, adding to the overall success of the Brazosport ISD TAFE program. From Brazosport High School, congratulations to the following students, and if they will come forward when I call their names. Clifton White, state qualifier in portfolio. Natalie Reyes, state qualifier in portfolio. Larissa Pryor, state qualifier in portfolio. Catalina Cisneros, state qualifier in portfolio. And our sponsors, Jaime Moreno and Alexia Haynes.
Hey, before we do it, we ain't seen this apprentice program? This recruiting the apprentice program? Just thought I'd throw that out.
Congratulations again, Coach Annual Captain
Game Tuesday and game Friday.
And now from Brazosport High School, the following students are state qualifiers. Olivia Guffey. State qualifier in Children's Literature, Kindergarten, 3rd grade, Junior Varsity, and Project Visualization, Appreciation, Junior Varsity. Our next student is Kaylee Johnson. State qualifier in Children's Literature, Pre-K Varsity. Our next student is Rosie Rios. State qualifier in Children's Literature, Kindergarten through 3rd grade, Varsity. Our final student from Brazosport High School this evening is Rami El Yusuf. State qualifier in Project Visualize, Varsity Service. And our sponsors, Ms. Mary Ashley Jimenez and Ms. Cameron Peters.
Seniors for the apprentice program? Throw that out. Make sure they know about it.
And now for Clute Intermediate state qualifiers for the very first time the school competing in the middle school level. In public speaking, state qualifier Viviana Damien. State qualifier in interactive bulletin board, Amira Patterson. State qualifier in interactive bulletin board, Jason Torres. State qualifier in interactive bulletin board, Jeremiah Clay. And our Clute Intermediate sponsor, Ms. Mary Ashley Jimenez. Congratulations again to our
our Spotlight Educator Award. The purpose of the BISD Educator Spotlight Award is to recognize outstanding teachers across our district. These are teachers who go above and beyond, not only for our students, but for their coworkers as well. When I call your name, if you could please come stand next to Mr. Massey. Our secondary Spotlight teacher is Ms. Alicia Pena from Rasco Middle School. And our elementary Spotlight teacher is Ms. Crystal Mott from Freeport Elementary. Ms. Pena, a sixth grade math teacher, is highly praised by the Rasco administration for her exceptional dedication to students, mentorship of new teachers, and leadership within the school. She excels at making math engaging and accessible, fostering confidence and a love for the subject in her students. Beyond the classroom, she mentors new teachers, sharing resources and strategies to support their success and contribute significantly to the math department's collaborative environment. As a campus leader, Ms. Pena actively leads professional development, participates in school initiatives, and supports school-wide goals, inspiring her colleagues with her teamwork and commitment. Her contributions have made a lasting impact on the Rasco school community. Ms. Mott, a kindergarten teacher at Freeport Elementary, is celebrated for her exceptional dedication and passion as an educator. She's a strong advocate for her students, creating a supportive, engaging classroom where every child feels valued and encouraged to succeed. Beyond teaching, she actively participates in PTO activities, fostering collaboration and community within the school. Her peers describe her as a caring, driven, and inspiring, consistently going above and beyond to ensure the success of her students and colleagues. Her positive energy, thoughtful lesson planning, and meaningful relationships leave a lasting impact on her students and Freeport Elementary. Thank you both.
Recognition portion of our board ceremony.
At this time, in accordance with BED Local, the board will provide an audience with individuals who have signed up prior to the meeting to address the board. Mr. Atkins will serve as our timekeeper, and for those requesting to speak, please note that comments are limited to a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker, with a maximum of 30 minutes total allotted for public comment. Delegations of more than 5 shall appoint a representative to present their views to the board. The board will not entertain negative comments on individual personnel or students in public session. Patrons are encouraged to use appropriate campus and administration channels before bringing concerns to the attention of the board. And board members are not allowed to deliberate, discuss, or make decisions regarding any subject not included on the board agenda. Tonight we have 4 folks who have signed up to speak. The first is Mr. Doug Kirk.
Good evening, board. I'm the guy that has probably produced in my working career over $100 million in taxable value to your school district. I was raised in your school district, and that's what I do every day. And not only me, but I've passed this on. I'm passing this down to my 2 sons and to my son-in-law, who is going to continue after I'm retired. They will continue to bless the community with what they do every day, which is build a house that is the vehicle by which you collect your tax dollars. That's why I want to be heard tonight. Because, as you know, I'm speaking about the consideration of closing Stephen F. Austin Elementary School. And my experience as a citizen of Jones Creek, I was 9 years with a special needs child in your school district. And so I'm well versed on what abilities you possess as a board and as educators to add numbers to our campus that is struggling currently, in which we all know that that's the thing we're caught up in, is a numbers game. And I say that because my child was a member of the BEST program. He started kindergarten at Jones Creek, and because of his needs, he was transferred to Clute. And so, for 9 years, my child was bused from Jones Creek to everywhere he was supposed to go. And so, in reverse, I'm asking you to consider busing children over to our campus for an interim, for me to be able to do what I do in bringing about more students to Jones Creek. And I say the reason that's very possible is because the tangibles are a total of 18 brand new transmission lines come right through Jones Creek that feed our industry that's just on the south side of our town. Also, we have a freeway that's being built right through our town, which whenever I go to my job site, the first thing I do to go to work is I roll out my extension cord. Well, that's bigger extension cords. You got 18 transmission lines that in my lifetime I never thought I'd see. Because, like I said, I'm a native here. And I've got a lot of experience with what goes on in my field, which impacts y'all's situation. And so I'm just asking you, I'm not going to be negative about anything because we're going to live it together, whatever it is y'all decide. It's just that I see, for me personally, because I'm fixing to have 6 little kids, if the school stays open, go there. And 2 of them are not born yet, but they'll be born in the next couple of months. And the hardship that the closure of that school is going to bring to the families that will be impacted from there, we'll all have to deal with. And so thank you for your time, and good evening.
Next on my list is Mr. Wes Tidwell.
Good evening. I too want to talk about the closure of Stephen F. Austin. We talked last month. I'm going to kind of repeat some of that. This is the heart of our town. A lot of people moved there to go to that school. That they went to that school when they were kids. They want their kids to go to that school. The school has always been the heart of the whole town. Closing schools, all that does is help you want to get the voucher. Closing schools help people say, hey, I'm going to homeschool my kids. We have parents out there right now with the anticipation that this school may be closed, already looking at Columbia, Brazosport ISD, Anchorage ISD, and Danbury ISD to take their kids. You think, well, that don't make sense because they're just going to go to Freeport. No, they work in Anchorage. They work towards West Columbia. It's much easier for them to do that. So now, people who were not even thinking about vouchers are thinking about vouchers because of this. We need to be trying to figure out how to keep kids in our school district, not trying to get them to leave. And that's what this is gonna do. You know, we're talking about 200 kids that may, half of them may leave, go somewhere else maybe. But you're already down, what, 2,000 kids the last few years? I think we need to save what we got. So, again, I'm asking y'all to get creative, figure out a way to keep the school open. Thank you.
Ms. Debbie Collins.
Trying not to trip.
Don't do that.
Hi, my name is Deborah Joyce Collins. I'm a native of Freeport, Texas. I lived there 18 years. Then I moved to Lake Jackson for 42 years. And now I'm in Jones Creek, so I'm for everybody. I am the last descendant of the big statue, when you see coming in and out of this area, that lives in Jones Creek. So, I guess when I heard what was going on, I do go to the city council meetings that Marshall Tidwell holds. I wanted to get involved in the community, and we have reenactment of Stephen F. Austin's funeral. I got real involved, but all my relatives lived in Jones Creek almost all my life. And I graduated with Joe Reinhardt from Brazosport about 80 years ago, something like that. And I'm taken back that you want to close Stephen F. Austin Elementary. My mind is just, I can't even imagine. My family donated the land to build the school, the Austin Bryan Perry family. And with anticipation, there'd always be a school in Jones Creek carrying the name of Stephen F. Austin. And I have a personal hurt, but most of all, it's for the children that have to be bussed out. They're young, and it's early in the morning, and I can't even imagine a school board doing that to these children. Most of the people, I don't know what the percentage is, are lower income. Some of the families only have one car. You have to go get your child that's sick at school. There's no transportation. A lot of the families don't have family like I did to go pick them up. I had 2 grandmothers and an aunt rushing to the school to get me if I were sick. They forget their gym suit. I had 3 people bringing mine. They don't have that. I am very upset because my family, in the anticipation of that Stephen F. Austin Elementary, would always be there. And then, I lived in Lake Jackson 42 years. I read about all the money that is earmarked for different things. I'm not going to bring it up. And that's why I'm so upset. I mean, Jones Creek is, it's where Texas began. And we have a lot of people that come in just to go to our historical cemetery and look where Texas began. And in a way, I think it's your responsibility to help us. Thank you.
Mr. Chilcote?
How y'all doing? My name's Mike Chilcote. I'm a resident of Jones Creek. First off, I'd like to congratulate the students, the sponsors, and the teachers that were honored here tonight. It's a big accomplishment for the school district to have those people honored. That's a big accomplishment for them and for y'all. My concern is, of course, Stephen F. Austin Elementary School. The bonds money that was allocated for the school district, I read a little blurb in the article December 3rd in the facts that states that trustees previously approved using unspent money from the district's 2014-2019 bond measures and to finance the majority of the new pool's costs. The Citizens Bond Oversight Committee approved the reallocation. What funds are reallocated is what I kind of want to know. That's $7.5, $8 million for a pool. Where did this extra bond money come from that's been reallocated? Is it money that was left over from previous projects? Sir, please don't shake your head in a condescending manner like that while
No,
I'm
I
making a
didn't.
statement. Please, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Is it the money from the Stephen F. Austin Elementary campus?
Nope.
Money that is supposed to have been set aside? Is it still set aside?
Sure.
Where did the $7.5, $8 million come from for the pool? That's my concern and question, but I too am concerned about the school campus closing. I have kids that went there, graduated through the Brazosport High School system, and I have grandchildren going there now, and I would like to see them graduate from Stephen F. Austin and progress on through the Freeport BISD school district, because it seemed to work fine for my kids, it worked fine for them. So, I would like to see Stephen F. Austin Elementary stay open. Please do whatever you can to help us. There's been some suggestions made to try to help, but we'll see what happens. I'd like to see for y'all to kind of make an effort to help us out. Thank you.
Next item that we have on our agenda is our consent agenda. Are there any items requested to be pulled from the consent agenda? All right. Hearing none, then do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Make that, sorry.
All right. It's been moved by Mr. Atkins. Do I hear a second? Second by Mr. Schulte. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. All right, that carries. Next item that we have then are our action items. Public comments will be allowed before a vote is taken on each action item. Our first action item is to consider the approval of the audited financial report for the year that ended August 31st, 2024. Our brand new CFO, Ms. Louis Cancino.
All right, good evening, board members, ladies and gentlemen of the public. Section 44.008 of the Texas Education Code and Section CFC of the Board of Trustees policies requires that the district have its financial statements audited annually by a certified public accountant holding a permit from the Texas State Board of Public Accountancy. The audit must be completed following the close of each fiscal year, and a copy of the annual report approved by the Board of Trustees must be filed with the Texas Education Agency no later than the 150th day after the end of the fiscal year for which the audit is made. The Board of Trustees has engaged the certified public accounting firm of KM&L LLC to perform the annual examination of the district's financial statements for the 2023-24 fiscal year. The auditor's examination has recently been completed, and the 2024 audit report is now available for the board review and approval. And Mr. Wade Whitlow from KM&L is here to present the audit report and answer any questions from the board. Mr. Wade.
Thank you. Thank you, Liddy. Good evening. Wanted to start off and let the board know that we had another successful year for the completion of the audit. You know, this process takes 6 to 8 months from start to finish. Starts way back in the summer, culminates to tonight, and that wouldn't be able to be possible without all the hard work of the employees of the district. Not only the business office, but all the other departments that we have to go visit for our various testing and inquiry process. Everyone is very welcoming and allows us to perform and provide our services. So a big thank you to everyone within the district for that. Within this audit report, we have 3 letters that we're issuing. The first letter that we're issuing is our opinion on the financial statements. and we're issuing an unmodified opinion, so that's a clean opinion that lets the readers know that what they read subsequent to that letter is materially and factually correct. The two other letters in the back of near the back of the report, the first one back there is our report on internal control over financial reporting. So, with this letter, a part of our risk assessment process that helps us formulate our audit procedures is to evaluate the control environment that the district has. Through that evaluation, we accomplish this evaluation by inquiry, testing transactions, and looking at compliance with certain programs that we selected. So within that evaluation, if we identify any deficiencies in internal control, we report those within that letter. We don't issue an opinion on the effectiveness of the controls, only if we identify any deficiencies. And I'm happy to report that we did not identify any deficiencies as it relates to the internal controls of the district. The third letter is our opinion letter on compliance with major federal programs. So this is related to the compliance audit that we're required to perform over federal funds. The two programs that we selected and identified as major programs are the ESSER funds and the Child Nutrition Cluster. We're issuing an unmodified opinion on both of those programs. They tested clean, and we did not identify any issues with the internal controls over compliance with that as well. Thankfully, this is the last year I have to say that we audited ESSER. It's been 4 long years of that, but and just as a reminder, we've been required by the federal government to continually test that program if it exceeds those thresholds. So if it seems like we're picking on ESSER, it's because we were required to pick on it. Lastly, there's a letter that we're issuing outside of our report addressed to the board, and it's a communication. If we identified any significant audit matters, that's a clean communication that we're required to issue. If there was anything that we needed to put in that letter, the board would have been communicated to prior to me standing up here. So that's something that's issued alongside the audit and is clean as well. Overall, within the report, there were no new accounting standards issued this year that changes the comparability from prior years. So the report reads similar to past years, whereas in the past we've had new standards implemented that we would have to go over and communicate, here's where the changes and why that occurred. So we did not have any of those. Everything reported in here from a budget versus actual standpoint, the schedules included in here, those all, we don't have any issues from an auditor's point of view as it relates to those. Everything else within this report, it's a reflection of all the hard work of the district. It's, not only the business office, even though they play a large hand in that, but it's all the departments, down to the schools, across the district. So it's a reflection of that hard work and the excellence that the district continues to strive for. So with that, I'll wrap everything up, and if y'all have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions from the board? All right, hearing none. Any questions from the audience? Comment? All right, thank you, Mr. Wheeler. Thank you, appreciate it.
I would like to thank Rebecca and Dean for your book,
For your details.
I guess.
Next item that we have on our agenda this evening are our reports. Public comment will be allowed on each report after the report has been. I'm just so excited to get on. All right, my bad. We have a report from Mr. Whitlow. Do I hear a motion to approve? Been moved by Scott. Do I hear a second? Second by Chris. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by nay. All right, it carries. Now our reports. comment will be allowed on each report after the report has been given. Our first report is the 2024-2025 District Improvement Plan First Quarter Review. Mr. Ron Redden.
Thank you. Good evening. In alignment with Board Policy BQ Local and each district goal, it's my pleasure to deliver the report on the first quarter progress made on the District Improvement Plan. You have a copy of the first quarter performative review in your board book. During each formative review, strategies that support the accomplishment of performance objectives are evaluated as discontinued, NA, which indicates no progress, some progress, considerable progress, and accomplished. To review, discontinued means that the strategy was discontinued for this year. NA means that no progress toward accomplishing the strategy's intended outcome was made. Some progress means from 5 to 49% of progress was made, while considerable progress means that from 50 to 94% of progress was made. Accomplished means that 95% or more of the strategy's intended outcome was met. This graphic illustrates the progress made toward accomplishing intended outcomes during the first quarter. Specifically, 0% were discontinued, 2.7% were rated as NA, 34.7% were rated as some progress, and 50.7% were rated as considerable progress. 12% were rated as accomplished. Goal 1 is the district's academic goal. The Early Childhood Department conducted walkthrough observations, including individual walks with principals, during the scheduled elementary curriculum walks to observe literacy instruction and Tier 1 instructional practices. Specialists also supported math instruction. During the first quarter, supplemental math programs, SD Math for elementary and ALEX for secondary, were fully implemented to reinforce classroom instruction. In addition, the curriculum department provided professional development in October on number talks, problem-solving models, fact fluency, and other key mathematical strategies. As the semester wore on, CBAs and walkthroughs provided data for targeted mathematics support. In the area of college, career, and military readiness, planning took place in collaboration with Brazosport College to offer FAFSA workshops with high schools once the FAFSA opened in December. And through the Braz Success Academy, the district continues to provide accelerated instruction to students who are behind in credits and at risk of not graduating. To date, 22 students have graduated from BSA, and I'm proud to tell you that we had our third GA, our Graduation Alliance graduate today. Very, very pleased. Goal 2 is the district's student and staff safety, health, and well-being goal. It is well documented that student mental health is a growing concern across our nation. BISD students are not immune to those mental health challenges. Suicide ideation protocols were reviewed with counselors to ensure that they are equipped to support a student in crisis. A mental health section was added to Safe Schools for all staff to complete this school year to increase their awareness of the mental health issues many of our students face, and to equip them to recognize when a student might be in crisis. In the area of student safety, students have been instructed on how to report a threat. Counselors have been provided training related to human trafficking and are equipped to train staff on their campuses on the potential warning signs of trafficking. BACOTA, or the Bay Area Council on Drugs and Alcohol, is supporting Brazoswood and Brazosport high schools with prevention specialists to facilitate small groups on drug and alcohol abuse prevention. Counselors are also following the scope and sequence and monthly focus calendar and providing character education. Many of our campuses regularly recognize students who display good character traits. Goal 3 is the district's communication and marketing goal. The first performance objective under Goal 3 reads, in 24-25, the district will raise awareness in the community and among staff members for legislative advocacy to support Brazosport ISD priorities. The Brazosport ISD Board of Trustees set forth a number of legislative priorities for the current legislative session. The board diligently studied how government actions at local, state, and federal levels influence our district, and they identified crucial areas where the Texas legislature could empower Brazosport ISD and its mission to better serve our students and the wider community. 3 strategies to support this performance objective were fully implemented during the first quarter. A dedicated legislative advocacy webpage was developed and launched. A legislative advocacy community forum was held with community members, and a 1-page legislative advocacy document was created that summarized key legislative priorities and their impact on BISD. District leadership met with State Representative Cody Basut to share the district's legislative priorities. In addition, they've been in constant communication with new State Representative Jeff Berry regarding those priorities. BISD Board Secretary Jerry Adkins, by the way, that's a great picture of you, Mr. Adkins, was selected to join the Brazoria County Core Team advocating for public education during the 89th Texas Legislative Session. Organized by Raise Your Hand Texas, this team brings together passionate advocates to ensure the needs of students and communities are heard. District Goal 4 is the district's technology and finance goal. BISD Technology is continuing to implement activities that will improve the technology infrastructure and support district initiatives. One strategy that was begun last year was to improve throughput across the district's networks. Throughput is a measure of how many units of information the system can process in a given amount of time. The last connection has been completed, and the old network connections have been submitted for disconnect. This brings the throughput project to a conclusion. The Technology Department also implemented several cybersecurity training initiatives this year through Safe School courses, Know Before cybersecurity surveys, bi-weekly bulletin updates over cybersecurity topics, and targeted training for employees who didn't pass the monthly phishing simulations. Using supplemental federal funds, the Language Acquisition Department conducted ESL and bilingual certification training, and the federally funded Emergent Bilingual Specialists supported teachers through walkthroughs, modeling, and feedback. The district is utilizing Texas Education for Homeless Children and Youths and other grant funding to continue to implement the ASCEND program. ASCEND is a retention program aiming to ease the transition from high school to and through college for students who have experienced homelessness or foster care. The program provides additional support and connects homeless students and families to needed resources so that students are able to focus on their educational goals. District Goal 5 is the district's goal on recruiting, developing, and retaining highly effective staff. The Registered Apprenticeship Program is off to another great start with 83 apprentices currently in the program. 10 of those apprentices are ready to start their careers at the end of this semester. Each of the 10 are employees of the district who serve in the role of paraprofessional or preferred substitute teacher. To support the apprentices in their development, the district continues to seek out universities who will come alongside us in preparing future teachers. This semester, Western Governors University joined our team. In addition to targeted professional development for teachers as a means to develop and retain highly effective staff, the district continues to recommend teachers for the teacher incentive allotment. 50 new teachers were approved this year as TIA eligible. Finally, the greatest impact on student learning is the teacher. When they are absent, it's critical that they are replaced by high-quality substitute teachers. The fill rates for subs this year is 93.9%, which is up from 91.9% at the same time last year. Since this is a report, no board action is required. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any clarifying questions you or the audience may have.
Any questions for Mr. Redden from the board? Comment?
I do have, on Goal 1, Performance Objective 3, you don't have to go to it, but it's, you mentioned it's the FAFSA.
Yes.
Is there progress with the college in preparing that? Because do we have a final that we can use now? I mean, that's been in the works for a long time to get the application finalized. So are we making any progress with the college and doing FAFSA applications?
So the application is should be a whole lot better now than it was. I think the federal government's still working on some of the kinks, but we do have a good system where the college is able to come and support our students along with our counselors at the high school. So we're making much better progress than we were before, and gearing up for that whole FAFSA season. So progress is being made. We don't have as many roadblocks as we did in prior years with the difficulty of the old FAFSA and the hiccups with the new FAFSA. But it's anytime you're filling out long paperwork that's created by the federal government, it can be a little complicated.
Oh, yeah. Is there no opt-out of that at all?
No, there is an opt-out, yes. All it takes is a parent to basically sign off on opting out.
Are we informing people of that? Because I hear that more than anything, that's the holdup to getting.
Yeah, they can. There's a decent number of people that are choosing to opt out.
Yeah, should be.
Well, yeah, because last January in D.C., Assistant Secretary of Education was there, and he got bombarded with questions from the Texas group about the applications and where it was, and he didn't have a lot of good answers. And this is just a general observation on Goal 1, Performance Objective 4. The strategies 1 and 2 are math support and reading for student outcomes, essentially the STAR. It looks like that we made a lot of progress on the math, but we're going to catch up with the reading because it was like 50% or 60 or something. So I assume that's in the process, you know, to maintain, to get that up to the 100, 90, 100 or whatever.
Absolutely, yes. They're both definitely in progress, and we should eventually hit completion.
Under Goal 2, the character education, well, I was looking at the strategy 2, which was I guess the secondary for capturing kids' hearts, and it was only like 50%. And I think we have 11 schools that are going to do that.
It doesn't mean that they're only 50% doing it. It means that their outcome is written, that by the end of the year. It's an end of the year measure that they're using. And
Okay.
so that's 50% above is considerable progress, but that 50% means that as we reach the halfway point, we are on track.
So
That's how that should be interpreted.
So hopefully we'll have at least 11 schools implementing the capturing kids' hearts. Okay. Last question I have is on the strategy 7, whatever it is, but it was after school, the Boys and Girls Club. Do we have ample funding for those? How many campuses? I think it's 11 campuses also. So are we good on the funding with that? I know it comes in from grants and other places.
I believe it's grant funded.
Some of the sites are paid by the parents.
Oh,
They're not
okay, so
all
they do.
sites
They're not all
anymore.
Okay, so that's right, they do something. Okay.
Some are paid.
So we haven't dropped any. We still have the same numbers after school programs, I hope. But we can check on that.
To my knowledge, we do. Jay, I don't recall that we've dropped anything this year.
Okay.
Some went from free to pay, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay. Just curiosity.
Okay. Anybody else from the board? Mr. Chilcote, you still have a question?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
one of them was the FAFSA. If you could help parents and students navigate through that FAFSA program, that's a big plus, because I went through it twice and it was a nightmare. Other thing, this fiber that the school district has, is
Yes.
that a privately owned fiber now, or are you utilizing third-party fiber to connect to schools?
I don't know the answer to that. David would know. There he is, popping his head out.
What was the question again?
If the fiber that's put between the campuses, is it privately owned by BISD, or is it a third-party venture?
So yes, so the district owns the fiber, but pays a company to repair it if you.
Okay, that's good, that's good, they own the fiber, that's a good thing. Lastly, the first slide you had with the pie charts, I'm not
Yes.
well versed in your terminology. What are your strategies? What are strategies on your first, you talked about all the different strategies. Is
So-
that programs, is that initiatives in the school?
It varies. So the way that a district improvement plan is written is you have your district goals. We have 5 district goals.
Mhm.
And then we have 13 performance objectives that are what we're aiming for. Well, not under every goal, but across all of the goals.
Okay.
Then as we move through the course of the year, what we want to do is accomplish our performance objective, because that's where the board approved in October our measures, our measures of success, what those would look like. And so the strategies intent and their intended outcome are things that we're putting into place, initiatives we're doing, actions that we're taking, programs that we're launching, funding we're providing, all of these different things are designed to help us accomplish that performance objective. So during the course, it's a very good question, during the course of the year, we measure our progress in our strategies for the first 3 formative reviews. And then in June, we come back and we actually measure, did we accomplish the performance objective? And that summative evaluation then in July, I present to the board, and we give them a report on how we did in accomplishing our plan for the year.
And it's accomplishing the goals, so the strategies
Yes,
are
those
your
performance
means of
objectives,
accomplishing
yes.
the goals.
And if we accomplish the performance objectives under a goal, then we are moving toward accomplishment of the goal.
That's it, thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good question.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Mr. Reddy.
Thank you very much.
The next report that we have is our bond planning and construction update from Mr. Alex Zornay.
You got FedEx.
Who's that guy?
Good evening. In accordance with Board Policy CV Local, it is my pleasure to present the planning and construction update for the 2019 bond program. As of December the 11th, we have total POs issued of $260,526,000 and approximately 89.4% completed or in progress. First project to talk about tonight is the Brazosport pool replacement. It is under construction. This is a aerial photograph that shows the entire site. In the background towards the lake, you can see the construction trailer with their temporary laydown area. And then below that is the dirt area where the pool site is, and then the temporary driveway that they have built parallel to the entrance to the field house. This is just another view from the opposite direction. And this is a drone picture that was taken directly above, showing the entire pool construction site. They've scraped off the top area, and they're currently working on their layouts for the mechanical, electrical, and all that before they start digging the hole. And then that's a closer view. And this is the architect's rendering of the pool. And then this is looking at it from the other direction. And this is the site plan from BOK, and it shows the play field, the field house, and then the location and layout of the pool. And then that's the closer view. Over at the Child Nutrition Maintenance and Transportation Project, where we're doing additions and renovations, this is a very busy drawing. I'll try to simplify it the best I can. The blue areas are bus parking. Well, the blue areas on the far left, that's revised bus parking. And then the areas above that are the existing bus parking that's going to be restriped. And then to the right of that is the staff parking, which is in the location of where the temporary transportation trailer, which will be relocated to the Freeport Satellite Park behind Freeport Intermediate. And then the two parallel gray buildings in the middle, that's the existing transportation, child nutrition, and maintenance buildings. The one on the, I'll see if I can point this one right here, which is currently all maintenance. That building is going to actually be completely demolished, and we're building a replacement building in its space, which will be a little bit smaller, but the layout of it and the interior design will make it much more efficient and give them more space than they currently have. And then the child nutrition, actually the next drawing I'm going to be able to show that better. This area right here, that's all revised parking areas. This is mainly staff parking on the outside, and then this is maintenance parking.
close-up view of the actual layout of once the new layout of the building. The blue area, that's the new building which will house maintenance and custodial in the front, and then the back part of the building will be transportation offices, and in the tan area above, the front part is child nutrition where they're currently located, and then the middle part is their cooler freezer area and their warehouse, and then there's a small area which is currently where the bus drivers come in and check in and out, and that will remain the same. It is renovated, but it's the same location, and then there would be a corridor attached to the blue area below where their offices are. The area to the left is the bus barn where they actually do the maintenance on the buses. We're not doing anything on the interior of that, but we are reskinning that entire building. So all of the, it'll look like a brand new facility. It's gonna be a major improvement over there. The timeline for that project, we've already done the design development. We are now in construction documents review. That will take place for the next, for January and February. In March, it will go, the construction documents will be completed and it will go out to bid. In April, we will come to the board for GMP approval, and construction will begin in April as well, and then in August of '26, the project will be completed. The next project, which is currently in the design phase, is the Rasco stacking lanes, which will take place next summer. And we are currently undergoing the additional traffic studies. We're doing the site survey, and the geotech is underway. They'll actually start drilling their moorings next week. In January, we'll get into design development, and February, March, construction documents are done and out to bid. We'll come to the board in April for GMP approval. Construction starts in May and will be complete before school starts in August of next year. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. From the board?
What are we doing? What are we doing with all the dirt on the pool?
I do not know the answer to that. We don't have any plans for it to go to another site anywhere.
For the Rasco stacking lanes, briefly, tell me about it.
Well,
I mean, the stacking lane now goes to the parking lot, right, essentially?
yeah, they don't have.
Yeah, they don't really have a stacking lane.
We have a major traffic problem over there, so that's the purpose of, we actually did one traffic study, and I don't know what happened, it was not enough. There was no way it was enough, so they're looking at it again. At one point, and it very well could still take place, just be expanded, will be very similar to what we did over at Griffith, where it does go through the parking lot, but it'll extend way back. It'll be like a triple stacking line.
So it may go back into the field behind it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And if it does cut through the play area or the basketball area, that will be rebuilt as well.
Is there enough room to go all the way around it? Just make a big U?
We will be looking at that as well.
It's probably gonna land on that one side.
There is a conversation with that as well.
Yeah, 'cause there's some entrance on the back.
So is that gonna stop pickup at the rec center?
Probably not. It was interesting, I was on Rasco's campus, last week, and, the traffic engineer was, on campus outside with Mr. Fuller. They were doing their traffic counts, and he mentioned that the setup is not the issue, non-compliance with the parents is really the issue, so.
Yeah, I include intermediate.
Yeah.
Church lot.
There is a chance, I assume we're filing insurance for some of the child nutrition and transportation area because of the hurricane. Some of that will be paid back to us potentially through insurance at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
The roof at child nutrition has already been replaced. But yes, I think, Rebecca, the insurance from the hurricane damage on child nutrition.
Yeah, we're working through that.
I think it will take some time for that to get resolved.
And then I was trying to answer your question during your speech because we can't verbally talk, but now that we have the pool up here, Rebecca, can you, since it was during your time, can you let us know where that bond money was coming from so we can answer his question?
Yes.
So the funding for that project was reallocated from leftover money from completing the Brazosport projects under budget. And then the rest of it was reallocated from interest earnings from the 2014 bond program. So the Stephen F. Austin money that was included in the 2019 bond, it has remained and has not been reallocated to complete that project.
We did use a portion of that money for renovations, though. Correct?
Correct. We've made some improvements at Stephen F. Austin. We've done flooring, we've painted, we put in a track, a new playground, all new furniture. So some of the funding has parking lot, resurfaced the track. And so the improvements that we've made, we've utilized the money that was in the 2019 bond, but there's still significant amount that.
Yeah, we know there was some money spent at Stephen F. Austin.
Right.
The flooring could have been done much better, should have been done better, bubbling up and popping up in places and stuff, but the track was resurfaced in the school, they got new gym equipment, things like that. So we know some money was spent, we just was making sure.
It has not been reallocated for the full, yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
How much was spent on the reallocation? On
The pool,
Yeah,
or
The improvements.
on the improvements?
NSFA.
I don't want to misspeak, but I can get you that information.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nice enough. Thank you.
Well, can I briefly make a direct toward you? Is we just want to keep the school, we don't care whether you build us a new one or not.
We just wanted to answer his question.
That's it.
Since we couldn't answer,
Yeah,
we just wanted to answer your question, that's all
That's
we're
all I
trying to
wanted
do.
to say. We don't care, we just don't want you to close
We
the
understand,
school down.
I was just trying to get his answer to
Sure,
his question.
I got you.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure he got it before we left, so that we had it.
I'm good, thank you.
Yes, sir. And my verbal shaking the head was not intended to be rude, it was just trying to say no.
Any other,
It came off that way, to be sorry.
any other comments from the board, questions for Albert?
So you're leaving?
We're gonna miss him.
Oh, no.
Are we gonna miss him? Oh, we are gonna miss him?
Not gonna miss you real bad, but we'll miss you.
I'll miss you real bad.
Yeah, I do want to
I'm just
thank,
gonna come to Green and see you.
yeah, I do want to thank, Mr. Journay for all his dedicated service to our district. You know, he was here in the 2000s when we, built Clute Intermediate, Lake Jackson Intermediate, Brazosport High School also, and, he's literally touched every single facility in our district, and he reminded me, this morning, when we were having this talk, that he's touched, a lot of them more times than once. So we do appreciate you, Alec, and congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
You gonna be near Green Hall?
Sir,
You gonna be near Green Hall?
I'll be 1.5 blocks.
Send me your address.
Mike, do you have another question?
Well, yeah, one more quick question. So, I saw on your map and everything up there, is this gonna bring all of the outer programs that are building out, back onto the campus, like the child nutrition, things like that, or are we just renovating the child nutrition location that's currently in place?
We're renovating the existing
Oh, okay,
facility.
okay.
Yes, sir.
The hurricane guy.
Yeah, when I was over there picking up stuff for Christmas, they showed me the hurricane damage and stuff that was going on over there, and some repairs that had to be done.
Yes, sir.
I would like to say, if I can, that my time here has been extremely rewarding, and it's something I'll never forget. And even though I'm not in the education per se, I feel like I have been, and I've learned so much about what it takes to run a school district, and I appreciate each and every person that I've dealt with throughout all my time here, because it's pretty much everybody. And so it's just been very rewarding. I'll never forget it.
Thank you.
Ms. Rebecca Kelly has a bond planning committee report for us.
Good evening. In the pursuit of exercising fiscal responsibility to ensure financial strength and provide the resources to equip and maintain quality facilities and educational programming, Brazosport ISD is considering a bond election in May 2025 to address critical needs in maintenance, technology, safety and security, and capital equipment needs in various departments.
In October, a bond planning committee was established by the superintendent and board of trustees to engage a diverse group of community stakeholders in the development and planning for the potential May 25 bond election. Tonight, it's my pleasure to provide an update related to the work that the 2025 bond planning committee has completed. The committee's primary objective was to assess the district's needs by evaluating current facilities, infrastructure, and educational requirements to establish priorities for a future bond proposal. By engaging the community through transparent dialogue, the committee aims to gather valuable input and build broad-based support for the bond program. Additionally, the committee developed comprehensive recommendations for the school board, ensuring proposals align with the district goals, address identified needs, and maintain fiscal responsibility. Furthermore, the committee will inform and educate the community about the bond planning process and its potential impact, guaranteeing that facilities remain well-maintained and students continue to receive quality educational opportunities. The committee structure was composed of community members, parents, teachers, district staff, local business leaders, and other key stakeholders. The committee meetings were held at 5:30 p.m. on November 7th, November 21st, and December 5th. Over the 3 meetings, the committee reviewed the history of the bond programs in Brazosport ISD, learned more about how public schools are funded, and why a 2025 bond program is needed. VLK and district leaders presented facility assessment needs report and department capital needs. The committee reviewed district tax rate capacity and changes to legally required proposition and ballot language since the last bond that VISD had in 2019. Lastly, the committee voted on a recommendation for the board to consider and selected a bond slogan. The district has utilized voter-approved bond programs in 2012, 2014, and 2019, and has an active Citizens Bond Oversight Committee to review and monitor the status of capital projects, the bond expenditures, the project schedules, and the timelines within each of the bond programs. The 2012 bond program had a projected tax rate increase of 4 cents, but the actual increase was just at 1.3 cents. The 2014 and 2019 bond programs were completed within budget and without increasing the tax rate. The bond planning committee had discussions about a 2025 bond and once again prioritizing the ability to maintain a flat INS tax rate. The 2012, this is just a summary of the 2012 bond and what was included. All of this information is on our website if anyone would like it. I know it's pretty small print, but the 2012 bond was $40.3 million, and the voter approval was at 55.85%. This bond program was for major maintenance and capital equipment needs, no major facilities. The 2014 bond was a $175 million bond and also included major maintenance and capital items and buses, and was also the first major facility bond that the district had passed since 2002. This bond passed with a voter approval rate of 66.8%. And then the 2019 bond program was also major facilities and maintenance, buses, and capital equipment once again. Voter approval for this bond was at 78.67%. And so that was 6 years ago, and so why are we looking at a 2025 bond? What makes it needed? And so bond programs are vital to funding public schools. They provide a mechanism separate from the maintenance and operation budget to construct and maintain facilities, along with purchasing capital equipment needed to continue to operate the district. Brazosport ISD is funded through 2 separate tax rates, each serving a distinct purpose. The maintenance and operation, or the M&O tax rate, funds the general operating budget. It's important to note that there has been no increase to the basic allotment since 2019, leading to a current operating deficit of $11.7 million. 86% of the annual operating budget is dedicated to salaries, another 3% is spent on utilities, and another 3% on insurance. So that leaves less than 8% of our $120 million budget to cover other operating costs. Coupled with the district's history of being subject to the state recapture system, BISD has strategically used voter-approved bond programs to
to fund basic infrastructure and maintenance needs, add safety and security measures, and fund capital and equipment needed for technology and instructional resources, books for our libraries, along with fine arts, CTE, and athletic program capital needs. The INS tax rate is exclusively used to repay debt from bond programs. Brazosport ISD has successfully managed the 2012, 2014, and 2019 bond programs, keeping them on schedule and within budget, and maintaining a flat INS tax rate now for over a decade. We strategically utilize the capacity within our existing tax rate to meet the facilities and capital needs, and have even paid off previous bond debt early, saving over $6.4 million in interest. Legislative action is needed to address our annual operating budget. The deficit position is not a BISD problem, it's a statewide issue, with over half of the school districts in 2024 operating under deficit budgets. Texas currently ranks in the bottom 10 nationally, trailing behind the national average of per-student spending by $4,000. Since 2019, the basic allotment has remained $6,160. If that basic allotment had been indexed to inflation, that would equate to $14 million of additional funding for BISD, highlighting the gap and the deficit that we would not have had it been indexed. Inflation has impacted various sectors: fuel by 39%, safety measures by 24%, utilities by 15%. We've increased teacher pay throughout that time by over 13%, and property insurance is at a staggering 77%, all with no additional funding into our maintenance and operation budget from the state. Additionally, the special education funding gap stands at $2.8 million, with actual costs amounting to $15.1 million to provide those services, and the state funding is $12.3 million. So despite these challenges, Brazosport ISD remains committed to fiscal responsibility, ensuring our financial strength. This commitment allows us to provide the necessary resources and maintain facilities that uphold an environment conducive to quality learning and the safety of our students. So as part of the facilities planning, the district conducted a comprehensive facility assessment. VLK architects and DVR engineers were engaged to conduct on-site facility walkthroughs to thoroughly evaluate the condition of our facilities and the necessary mechanical, electrical, and plumbing components. We also surveyed campus principals to gather essential insight from those who are closely familiar with the daily operational needs and the challenges within their facilities. Meetings with our BISD maintenance team also provided additional perspective on routine upkeep and specific areas that require attention. Finally, we reviewed the life cycle replacement needs of our buildings to plan for timely updates and renovations. The facility assessment findings have been categorized based on the priority levels and classifications to address the identified needs systematically. Priority level 1 are critical items that address deficiencies related to life safety, campus security, and/or accessibility. These require immediate attention with a time frame of about 0 to 1 years. Priority level 2 are related to building envelope, building systems, or other near-term major maintenance needs. These are items that should be planned within the time frame of 2 to 5 years. And then priority 3 category includes items likely to require attention within the next 5 to 10 years, and those considered enhancements to the instructional environment, ensuring we maintain a forward-looking approach to facility maintenance. By proactively addressing these areas, we aim to maintain a safe and secure, conducive learning environment for all of our students and staff. A board report at the June board meeting was given to present the details of the facility assessment at length that had been identified in the facility assessment data. A complete report was also provided to the bond planning committee, and then a copy of the needs by campus have also been placed at your board table for you to review and have available. And then to highlight and summarize some of the facility-related improvements at the various campuses are roof replacements, mechanical, electrical, plumbing improvements, some interior and exterior improvements, and specifically a security vestibule and stacking lane addition at Freeport Intermediate. So in addition to the facility assessment, department leaders were involved in planning for the capital needs within each of the areas to identify ongoing needs. Maintenance and operations to ensure our facilities are well-maintained and functional, safety and security, prioritizing the safety of our students and staff with necessary improvements, transportation, maintaining and upgrading our fleet to ensure safe and reliable transportation services, instructional resources, supporting the core educational resources and tools needed for effective teaching, technology, keeping pace with technological advancements to enhance learning experiences, extracurricular, providing the resources necessary for a vibrant extracurricular program that supports student development beyond their academics. And so to address these needs systematically, we classified our priorities into 3 levels. Essential needs are priority 1, level 2 are life cycle rotations, and then priority 3 are desirable educational enhancements or upgrades. Details by department have been also placed at your board table, and then department leaders presented at length the needs for each of their departments to the bond planning committee during our second meeting. And so what's in the 2025 bond? It's a total of $167 million. I know this is little, and so there's a handout also placed at your table on what's included in the proposed 2025 bond program. It is $167 million. 58% of that, or $96.9 million, is related to the facility assessment needs that were identified at each campus. Roof replacements at Brazosport High School, the 9th grade center at Brazos-Wood, Clute Intermediate, Lake Jackson, Polk, and Rasco. All of their roofs are at the end of their life. Various interior and exterior improvements and MEP, or mechanical, electrical, plumbing related items. Also funds to demolish the old Brazos-Wood natatorium and address the structural issues in that area. Funds are also included to construct the vestibule and stacking lane at FIS. 5%, or $7.8 million, is for safety and security related improvements, security cameras, and also the expansion of Zero Eyes, which is the gun detection software within the security cameras, access controls for doors, emergency communications, etc. 10%, or $18.1 million, is allocated to cover curriculum and instructional resources. This is an area where we can now build in the cost of instructional softwares that we pay for annually, which will help alleviate the general fund deficit moving forward. Also included is campus furniture replacement at Brazosport, Clute Intermediate, Freeport Intermediate, Lake Jackson Intermediate, and Lanier, which are the only campuses that were not replaced and or received new furniture as part of the 2019 bond. 2%, or $3.79 million, is allocated for extracurricular programs for things like band instruments, uniforms for both fine arts and athletics, and various equipment needs, and a new semi-truck and trailer for the Brazos-Wood Band and a trailer for the Brazosport Band. 14% is for technology, includes things like Chromebooks for students, computers for staff, classroom projection devices, and various software programs necessary to operate the district. This is, again, another area that we've been able to expand, which will provide some relief to the general operating budget. And then 5% for major maintenance, paint, custodial, and grounds equipment, service vehicles, and fire and alarm system upgrades. And then 2%, or $3.7 million, for transportation, for school bus and a new fueling station. And then lastly, 2.5% for child nutrition to replace various kitchen equipment, and then replace the child nutrition service vehicle. So there are funds available from the completed 2014 and 2019 bond projects that are available to carry over. There was about $24 million from 2014 that was previously approved for carryover, but the library and media projects from 2014 were still in progress when we made that reallocation. So they've obviously since been completed, and there's about $825,000 that can be carried over and utilized to offset the next round of library books and resources that are needed and included in the 25 bond. And then from the 2019 bond program, campus improvements at Polk Elementary, Clute Intermediate, and Lake Jackson Intermediate have all been completed and under budget, so there's $951,300 total available to be carried over and can offset the campus improvements at each of these sites in the 2025 program. Reallocation of these funds will be presented for CBOC and board approval in January. The 2019 bond
program funds allocated for Stephen F. Austin Elementary will not be carried over and will continue to be held until a later date. So when preparing a bond program and evaluating the tax rate capacity, it's important for us to review the capital assets and improvements included in that program by useful life. As we structure the amortization schedule, we want to make sure that we are paying off the debt associated with the assets and not carrying the debt for longer than the useful life. So for example, we don't want to carry debt for 10 years on a Chromebook that will only be used for 5. And so presented here is a total of the 25 bond program by useful life and dollar amount. So the bond planning committee reviewed tax rate capacity and all agreed that the district should continue the approach of leveraging the capacity within the existing tax rate to meet the facility and capital needs of the district. This is a tax rate scenario prepared by U.S. Capital Advisors, the district's financial advisors. It keeps the tax rate flat and has a conservative value growth of 0.5%, and it aligns the amortization with the useful life of the assets that we will purchase in the program. With the district's strategy to utilize bond programs to address facility and capital needs, we want to make sure that we are also planning for the future bond in the next 5 or 6 years. So the district will has the capacity to issue $167 million in 2025, and there would once again be additional capacity in 2030, 2031 for another bond to continue to meet the capital needs of the district, also keeping the tax rate flat. And so the tax rate capacity is conservative to ensure we can maintain a flat tax rate. So as there is additional capacity within the INS tax rate, as that is calculated each year as part of adopting the budget, the district has historically managed the debt to pay it off as quickly as possible to save on interest. Over the past 4 years, Brazosport ISD has saved over $6 million by refunding and defeasing outstanding debt obligations. So the 86th session of the Texas Legislature, which concluded in May of 2019, resulted in the enactment of several laws that directly impact how school districts draft ballot and proposition language for their bond elections. So this will be the first time that applies to us. In general terms, these changes create 2 new obligations for school districts. First, districts are now required to include specific language in each bond proposition to notify the voters that the property tax will increase in connection with the approval of the proposition. So regardless of a 2025 bond not requiring a tax rate increase, the ballot language will be printed that this is a property tax increase. Imagine the confusion that this will cause to a voter when the district provides information that it will not increase their tax rate, and then they show up on election day and see that ballot language that it is a property tax increase. Did I go back one? Yeah. I'm sorry. So this is an example of Alvin ISD, and they lowered their tax rate, and they still had to have that ballot language is highlighted in yellow. So while we can issue $167 million without increasing the tax rate, and we'll keep our promise that we've had since 2014 to not increase the tax rate, the ballot language will be required to say this is a property tax rate increase. So we will do our best through communication to try to explain that so people understand when they show up to vote that we weren't misleading them. And so another change in statute is the requirement to have a special purpose items separated from the general purpose proposition. In the past, we have had everything in one proposition, and when you showed up to vote, you would vote yes or no to a single proposition. Now the statute requires us to separate things like stadiums that seat over 1,000 spectators. This would apply to Hopper Field, that's the only stadium that we have, but we don't have anything included for Hopper Field. Construction of a natatorium along with other recreational facilities and performing art facilities, not necessarily applicable to our bond, but would be required to be separate. And then any technology equipment other than equipment used for school security or technology infrastructure that's integral to operating a facility. So basically, the student one-to-one devices that we have included will be required to be separate. And so versus having one proposition, this 2025 bond would include 2 types of items. In the proposed 2025 bond program, there will be $160.9 million
Most of the items can be in the general proposition with a separate proposition for technology equipment for student devices totaling $6.1 million. So this means when someone goes to vote, they will vote on each proposition, so both could pass, neither could pass, or one could pass and one could fail. So they will stand alone. And so strategies for bond communication have been designed to educate and inform our community about the upcoming bond proposal through a comprehensive and multifaceted approach. A bond planning committee with strategy 1 to advise the BISD Board of Trustees, ensuring transparent and well-informed decision-making. Community and staff outreach will include presentations on school finance and the bond proposal, supplemented by informative information videos and publication. Furthermore, we will utilize media outlets for sharing factual information and garnering public endorsement, while voter education efforts will provide essential details on the voting process. Our plan also emphasizes student awareness by equipping high school students with the resources to encourage voter registration among eligible students, and a voting campaign will engage all target audiences through social media initiatives. All right, I want to thank Mr. Howard, Mr. Reinhardt, and Mr. Schulte for representing the Board of Trustees and participating on the Bond Planning Committee. Mr. Mike Carter is the committee representative that will bring the committee's recommendation to the Board of Trustees at the January board meeting. This is report only, so no action is needed, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
So from our tax people, they're guessing, the best guess is 4.5%.
Oh, interest rate, yes,
Interest rate,
4.5%
yeah.
with
Is
rest.
that, what do we?
Well, the last one we did was under 2%, so, but I mean, yeah, but interest rates are a lot higher, so,
Right.
yeah, now.
So, when we say this is a property tax increase, could we add for BISD, it's not a tax rate increase? Is that what
Can you play with words?
hey, just a thought, outside the box.
Didn't somebody challenge it, and Paxton shot it down, or somebody? What caused it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm working with our bond legal counsel to draft the official ballot language, and we'll have that in January.
For the presentation next month, all the names of the committee members will be on there, right?
Oh, we can provide that, and I think many of them will be here.
Yeah. that'd be good.
We've invited them to be here, yeah.
Anyone else? No? Audience? All right.
Oh, thanks for that. I finally figured out how to save the June presentation to put it in my folder, but I didn't want to print it out because wouldn't have enough ink. So, I'm glad to get it.
When we're going out to bid for these items, are they standalone items, or do they know what estimates we have, or any of those kind of things when we're bidding these?
So the
With the
cost
con-
estimates, we worked with BLK on, and then the department leaders got cost estimates for their things. So, yeah, they'll go through the legal procurement process at the time that, we purchase
Put
them.
them out to bid.
Yeah, but they're estimates right now, and then the facility assessment information factors in some inflation,
Yeah.
we know, yeah, and then some
How about
professional
that?
fees, yeah. So, I think we use 10% inflation the first year, and then 5% the second year, so yeah, they're factored in. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any board committee reports from our board members?
I'd like to say, I was able to witness a basketball game between Freeport Intermediate and Lake Jackson Intermediate, 7th grade. Coaches from both schools did a great job getting folks in and out, well attended by parents, which was a plus. Mr. Morrow was there. He had one of his kids that he mentors plays for Freeport, so that was a great thing. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see 5 symphony orchestra concerts in 48 hours, but I did that too. And that's an outstanding thing. And one of the special things I did this past week was go to the Transition Center. Had a holiday walkthrough, taco soup lunch, and it was really neat to see those kids who are at that age where they're pushed to the point where they have to go out somewhat on their own. And our seeing their big smiles about what they're doing for you, and it's just, kinda gets to it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Reinhardt. Any other board members? All right, hearing none. Our next item, next regular scheduled board meeting, I'm sorry.
I thought you speak up. I had one more just quick question.
Sure.
With the pending vote on the voucher program passing or failing or not passing, has there been any kind of discussions or any studies done on how it's going to impact the ISD school district? Like financially, student-wise, or anything like that? Has anything been discussed about it, or is it just hanging out there waiting for the vote?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your very first part.
Vouchers.
Oh, the vouchers.
Yeah, the voucher program is pending,
Yeah.
pass or fail.
Yeah, let me, so that's not an agenda item, but I'll be happy to visit with you right afterwards.
Okay,
So we
yeah.
can have discussion on it since it's
Yeah, I'm
not
just
agenda.
curious.
But I'll visit with you.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly.
Thank you.
You bet.
And I would kind of point to our legislative objectives.
Priorities.
Rocky, do you have something?
Yeah, just real quick, I know that, the pool that's fixing to be built is gonna be a outside pool, correct? Isn't there a pool right down the road from, at the park that could be utilized for that, couldn't be utilized?
It's been closed for 3 or 4 years.
Or condemned.
It's been condemned by the city.
But why would you wanna build a big pool like that and not have something over the top because of the weather? I'm just asking.
That's another one that's not on our agenda, but be happy, because we've had many discussions about it.
I'll see
Curious.
what, yeah.
Thank you.
Rebecca will educate you on all that she's studied, because we've been looking at it for quite some time.
6+ years.
All right. Our next meeting is January the 13th, right here. Next item that we have is executive session. It may be called for the purposes permitted by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code 551.071 through 551.146. Sections 551.071, consultation with attorney. Sections 551.071 on any agenda item. Sections 551.72 for the purpose of discussing the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Section 551.074, personnel matters, appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, dismissal, or complaint. Section 551.082 for the purpose of considering discipline of a public school child or complaint or charge against personnel. We'll be back. It is 8:11 by my watch, and we are returning from executive session. Unless there are any objections, we will stand adjourned. Merry Christmas.